Hey everybody, my name is Amanda. I'm an educator performer over at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. I'm currently working from home right now as we're practicing social distancing at the museum, but I wanted to share a couple of activities that I've been doing with my 4-year-old that are really easy for you all to do at home with your young children. The activities will probably be geared more towards the 3-year-old to 6-year-old age range, so let's get started. The first thing that I like to do, or one of the things that I like to do and have done while I've been home with my kiddo, is freezing things in water balloons. So I like to take one of his little figurines or one of his toys. Here I have Spider-Man. And I like to put him inside the balloon, fill it with water, and then stick it in the freezer for about 24 hours. Once it's frozen, I'll give him a cookie sheet. I'll put the ice ball down on the sheet, and I like to come up with a story because sometimes kids need stories to get them to really care about what they're doing. So I'll say, oh no, Green Goblin froze. Oh, his head's crooked. There we go. Green Goblin froze Spider-Man in an ice ball, and we have to save him. How can we do that? So I'll give them a bunch of tools. And when I say tools, they're going to be non-traditional tools. Things like salt, things like paper clips, toothpicks. You can give them real tools. I gave my son a screwdriver and a hammer the other day, but I also made sure that he was wearing eye protection and I was right there with him, helping to facilitate that play. So that's totally okay. If you're more comfortable with the non-traditional tools, by all means use those. So at this point, just let them play. Let them experiment with the salt. What happens to the ice ball when they put the salt on it? How can we chip away at the ice ball with the toothpick or with the paper clip? How can we get Spider-Man out without just picking up the ice ball and chucking it at the ground to get it to break? So that's a really fun activity that my son loves to do that I think your kids are really going to enjoy too. The toy on the inside can be anything. It can even be just a piece of fabric if you want to pretend to be paleontologists too. Another activity that I just did with my kid is making a skee-ball game out of a bunch of cardboard that we had laying around our house. Now, skee-ball is great because this is a really good activity to experiment with ramps and rollers and basically beginning friction. So I have my cardboard ramp, but we also have a bunch of different materials lying around the house. This is some weird packing stuff that we got from an Amazon package. It looks a lot like a hula skirt almost. So I'll put this material down and then I'll experiment with a bunch of different kinds of balls. So they don't have to be balls, they can be blocks, they can be anything. But you want to make sure that maybe they have some different textures and different weights to them. They can let those balls roll down the ramp. How do the different materials affect how the ball rolls? Does the weight of the ball matter as far as how fast it goes down the ramp? And does the texture of the ball matter? This last set of activities, I've taken it outside. One thing that my kiddo really enjoys is learning outside. So using the objects in our backyard, natural materials like sticks and rocks are a really great way to promote literacy skills, language development, and your child's observational skills. So a couple of things we like to do outside is to just gather sticks and make letters out of the sticks. We, this morning, just made an alphabet scavenger hunt using, it's upside down, using objects in our backyard as landmarks. He had to walk around the yard and find the letters that would eventually lead him to the treasure. Rocks are also a really great way to make letters. You can also do sorting activities with them. So does your child want to sort them by texture? Does your child want to sort them by size? Does your child want to sort them by color? Speaking of color, I also really encourage getting these paint swatches from Home Depot. It's perfect because it's free and they're really, really useful. We'll walk around the backyard and compare things in the backyard with the colors we see on our paint swatches. So can we find something that is this dark green? Can we find something that's really, really light green? Something that's yellow, something that's blue. So those are really good for making colored ones. And then observations. Sometimes when you walk out into your backyard, it can be pretty overwhelming for a child to make observations. They might see a bird, they might see a tree, but sometimes we really want to focus their observations. So a good way to do that is by using a finder. or a viewfinder. All this is a piece of paper with a rectangle cut out of it. If you have a hula hoop at home, also a really great piece of equipment to use to focus their observation. So I'll just put this down. I'll put this down in a spot on our yard, and that way my son can really focus on what's inside that square, which forces him to look a little bit closer. He might notice things that he wouldn't notice just looking out into the backyard. And then finally, with those observations, record them, right? The great Adam Savage from Mythbusters said the only difference between science and messing around is writing it down. And it doesn't need to be writing. Your child can draw a picture of what they see. They can recreate what they see in that viewfinder in another spot with those sticks as well. So I hope that these activities give you something else to do with your kiddo to help promote learning from home. If you do some of these, please take pictures and use the hashtag DMNSScienceParty. We really want to see what you guys are up to and what you're doing at home. Stay curious, stay awesome.